What is up, fellow developers? My name is Tyler Potts and welcome back to another video in the 31 days and 31 video series. This is day 7 and day 7 is a VueJS video. You guys have been requesting this a lot. I haven't done VueJS in a while, mainly because I ran out of things to do, but I found something to do. We're going to be creating this VueJS music app where we can add in a playlist. You can add as many songs as you want to this playlist. I only have 2 royalty-free songs on my computer, so I've just used those, and you guys probably hear them every single video, so I apologise. But we've got Grateful by NextPrevious, and we also have Invincible by Kef. So we're going to hit play, and as you can hear, it's now playing the Grateful song by NextPrevious. We click next and that will play Invincible by Kef, and we can actually click on these to swap between. So if we had multiple, like 10, 20, we can just click between them instead of having to click next each time. We can also click preview and go through them. So guys, without further ado, that is what we're building in this video. Let's get started. Okay guys, so we are going to start with open up a terminal, and in our terminal I'm going to bring this over here. So it's currently running the current server. We're going to clear that, we're going to cd out of this, and we're going to create a new Vue project. So if you have not installed Vue before, you need to have Node.js installed, and to install the Vue CLI you need to run npm i-g to install it globally, and you need to say at Vue/CLI, and now we've installed the latest version of the CLI, which is actually version 4 currently. So if I go back and because I've already installed it, so I'm not going to run that, but if I go here and say -v, you'll see I'm running version 4.1.2. So let's carry on with the video. So I'm going to say Vue create music app Spotify replica Spotif replica. Spotif. We're going to call it Spotif. I'm not copying Spotify. As you can see, it's called Spotif. It's a different app. Don't judge me. It's Spotif, all right? God, people in their goddamn naming conventions always judging me. All right, guys, this is going to install. We selected the default template, and we're going to let that install the starter packages. So I'll see you once that's done. Okay, guys, as you can see down here, we've successfully created our project Spotif. It's not Spotify, stop saying that. But anyway, we're going to say cd into Spotif, and then we're going to open this up with VS Code. So I'm going to do code dot, and that's going to open it up in VS Code. You have to enable the path in VS Code for that to work. And then we're going to run yarn surf. So I'm using yarn. You can also use npm surf, either one you prefer to use. So this is going to run our development server, and while that's doing that, we'll quickly go over what we have here. Oh, it's done. So if we go over to the right and we hit refresh over here, you'll see this is the boilerplate app we are given. I'm going to make this slightly taller just so we can see everything a bit better. So let's put this over here. Let's make it match that height. And in this, you can see we have the package JSON file with all our dependencies. We don't need to touch that, so don't touch it. We have our public. This shows us all our standard data. The only thing we really need to touch in here, why is my stuff blue? I'm not even going to ask. I don't even care. You can change the name for this, so I'm just going to call this Spotif. And that is our app. That's weird. It's really annoying me. That's blue. Is it still blue? Yeah, it is still blue. Oh, I hope this isn't blue. Or maybe it's my screen. Maybe I'm losing. Yes. So yeah, we've got our public file here, and we can edit anything in here, but we don't. Well, we can, but we shouldn't. This is where the code gets injected to. We don't really need to touch in there. Next part is our file system. So we have the assets, which has logo.png, and the components, which have components. We're not actually going to be using components today, just because I want to work on. I don't want to actually work on those components, so I'm going to remove this and remove this, because we're going to also delete that logo. So we're just going to start off straight away. So we've got our template. This is where we do our markup. We've also got our script and our components. Again, we're not using components for this project because it's just a really simple app. But in the future, we will use components. Let's remove this, and there we go. So in a Vue file, we get the template, we get the script, and we get a style, just like you can in normal HTML. The template is for your markup, so your HTML. The script is for your JavaScript or your VueJS. And the style is for your styling, CSS. We then also have this main file, but we don't want to touch this because this is actually just rendering it to our app. So yeah, first things we need is we're gonna need the music, and to get the music, I need to go quickly here, grab this, copy and paste. There we go. That's one song. And let me just copy the other one. I don't know why I did them one by one. I could have done them both at the same time, but I am not smart right now. I think I have a third song somewhere, but these are the only non-copyright songs I have on my Mac. See? What's going on? What are you doing? What are you doing? Look, what's this? Color theme. Material legacy. There we go. What is that? Why does it keep going blue? It's so annoying. So annoying. Alright, so we've done that. Now we've got our app here. Don't need to do anything yet, but we've got, I'm clicking things I shouldn't be. Back. How do I undo this? Why is there Git on here? Who did this? Oh, I'm having a field day today, guys. Alright, so let's get on with the few stuff. So we actually want to start by creating a header. Inside our header, we're going to have a H1, and it's going to say my music. Hit save. And you can see my music has appeared on screen. We can then also create a main, and inside our main we're going to have a section called .player, which is going to have our music player, which is going to have a H2 which says that's not right, class. I'm going to set the class to song-title, and in here we're going to actually put in some concatenated string, but for now we're just going to put test. And there you go, we see that there. So let's style what we've got currently. So I'm actually going to do most of the styling at the very end. I'm not actually going to style this, so you guys don't have to sit around watching me style if you just want to see the functionality. I'm only going to style it slightly, so at least it's readable, seeable, feelable. Box sizing, border box. Great. We're then going to say body, and we're going to give this a font family of just sans serif, because you know everybody loves good old sans serif. We're going to give the header, and the header is the only component we're actually going to start. So we're going to display it as a flex box. We're going to justify content center. We're going to align item center. We're then going to give it a width of 100%. Oh, that's unnecessary, to be honest. We don't need to do that. We're going to give it a padding of 15 pixels, just to space out a little, and then we'll give it a background color of 212121, and we'll give it a color of FFF. Bam. There we go. That is perfect. That is what we're working with, and let's continue on. So we're not going to do any more styling until the end of the video, so we can get past all the functionality first, and then we'll start working on the actual styling. So inside of the app here, we're going to set up something called data, and the data basically stores all of our, we can do it like that, or how I just did it a second ago, and then we need to return an object of our state. So this controls our state. So inside the data, if you've ever used React, you'll know that there you can set up a state. This is kind of this component state. So like useState, you can set it to return. Let me change my tab size to spacing using 2 because my computer hates me. And good. We're looking good. Everything's wrong, but we're good. Cool, perfect, nice, sorted. Okay, so in here we can set up a few things, and we're going to set up one called title, which is going to say song title. So now where we've got song title, we're going to put in here, well actually we don't even need that, we're actually going to create something called current, and current is going to be equal to our current song playing. So we're just going to quickly set a title in here called song title, and in here we're going to say current dot song, or just title. Hit save, and you can say it's now, you can see it's now changed to song title. So what these do, this is called template strings, and what we do, or I think they're called template strings, and what we do in here, we can actually use our data or props or state from there and use it up here, which is perfect. So we can actually use this stuff here, and every single time anything gets updated, so every time this gets re-rendered, this will change, which is perfect. So any data change will change what happens up here. So if we now want to, so we've got our current, but before we even can start our current, we need songs, and inside our songs we need an array the data is going to be the array of songs, and we're going to have a title for each song. So the first one is Grateful. It is by artist Nefx. And then we're going to have a source, and the source is, to actually use source, we need to require, because we need to get these assets. But you can't just say a string such as /assets/ nefx.mp3, for example. We can't do that. We actually have to require the file to pull it in to get the correct path, because obviously when we render this component, it actually renders into the public path. And we could do some weird thing where we basically dotted out of that, went into source, went into assets. But the best way to do it is by going require. We're going to say /assets/ it's going to load. It's not going to load. nefx-grateful.mp3. Oh, not mp4. And I'm not sure if that's actually what it is. There we go. Then the other one's def.keep. Cool. So we're now going to say in here, we're going to set the other one, which is going to be equal to something such as, the title is called Invincible. And the artist is going to be, I'll tell you what, I showed the, in the demo, I showed the song title, but I never showed the artist, so that's something I need to do in this one with us. So we're going to require here, and we're just going to say /assets/ nefx. No, not nefx. It's actually def-kef-invincible.mp3. And if we save that, nothing's going to happen, but we can now. So let me show you what happens when we actually drop one of these sources out. So if we go songs 0.source, hit save, you'll see it actually just gives us /media nefx and this. And that is what happens when this gets built. So when this actually gets built, and when it's rendered, it builds it, it sets up a media file, and bam, that's where it'll be, and that's what it'll be called. So that's actually what happens. So just so you know. Cool. So that's what I want to show you. So we want title, and then we're going to have a span in here. We're actually going to have a span and a span, and we're going to say artist, or in here we'll just say current.artist, which isn't going to give us anything because it isn't an artist. We'll just have a hyphen there. What's that saying? Invalid enter. Oh, I messed that up. Yeah, you're right. I did. Cool. So now let's just go say song title that. We're actually going to remove everything in the current as well, because we're going to set the current as soon as we start. There we go. So now it's just a rogue hyphen. Just a poor old hyphen. Poor hyphen. Cool. So now, after our data, we're going to set up a lifecycle method. One of the lifecycle methods is something called created. And what created does is as soon as this component gets created, so as soon as the app component gets created, we're going to run this, and we're going to say this.current. So to get the data values inside of the script tag, we actually need to use this instead of just writing out the variable name because of how it passes. So we're going to say this.songs, and then we're going to say this.index. And now we're going to set up a variable called index, which is set to 0 to start with. And now you can see it's getting the correct name of music. So that's what we're going to start with. We're then going to have this.player .source is equal to this.current.source. And now we need to set up our current in here. So after songs, we need to say, not current, we need to set up our player. And what the player is equal to is a new audio. So this is how we're going to handle the audio inside of our app. Is we're going to set up a new HTML5 audio element. So we hit save, and then that will be set up. Now we can actually say this.player player.play, hit play, And as you can see, that plays the app. I need to stop this because it's going to keep playing and it's going to play in my ear because I'm using my headphones. So as you can see, that is going to play the app, which is perfect. So it actually plays, which is good. So we've got that far. We have the title and we can get it to play, but we need to get some player controls, right? So let's go create some controls. Under the player, or no, sorry, in the player under the title, we're going to say .controls, and inside the controls we're going to have 3 buttons. So I'm just going to say button times 3, which is going to give us 3 buttons. The first one is going to say previous, the second one is going to say play, and the third one is going to say next. We actually need another button though, which is called pause. So in the button, we need to give the previous one a class of previous. We need to give it nothing else for now. The other play will give a class of play, and we're going to give the class of pause, and finally the class of next. So we have those 4 buttons, but we only want one of these to show at a time. We actually want another thing called isPlaying. And we're going to set isPlaying to false because it won't be playing at first. And now we're going to say if isPlaying. So if it's not playing, we're going to show the play button. We're then going to say else pause. So now you see it says play because we're not currently playing anything. So that is how we've done some conditionals. In Vue, you use if, and then you pass through a variable, which it shows how to be truthy or not. You can put conditions in it. You can say isPlaying is equal to X, Y, and Z, and stuff like that. So that is one part of this. So we now need to actually set up some methods. We need to actually have a play method. I'm going to hide that sidebar over there. I'm also going to zoom this in a little because I feel like it's a bit zoomed out. Sorry I didn't do this earlier. So we're going to have the play button. We need to basically set up a new function or new method called play. To set up methods, you create so I'm just going to create another section here called methods. And this is just going to be a object of methods, and in here we're going to say play, and that is going to be one of the methods. So we're actually going to set up in the play, we're going to set up a parameter called song, and we're going to be able to play a specific song, but we're also going to be able to play the current song as well. So as we've set the current song and created to this song, we're going to make a check in here. We're going to say if song.source or if type of song.source is not equal to undefined, or is equal to undefined, should I say. No, if it's not equal to type of undefined, we want to basically say this.current is equal to the song. And then we want to say this.player.source is equal to this.current.source. And then we're going to say this, no, we don't need to do that. So they're the only 2 bits we need to do. We don't need to say this.player.play. And then that is actually going to play the current song. So we're going to say this.isPlaying equal to true, because that means the song is now playing. We then need a pause function, and the pause method is going to say this.player.pause. We don't need to do anything with any of the songs, but we just need to say this.isPlaying is equal to false. So now we have these variables. Let's add them in so we can have a play button. I'm going to put this here. I'm going to say @ or you can say ~on, but I'm going to say @click is equal to play. And then we're going to pass through here. Well, actually, we're not going to pass anything through there. Sorry, we're just going to play. We're going to also say click is equal to pause. Now, I'm going to move my headphones onto my microphone so you can hear this. But if we now come over here and we hit play, you can hear it starts playing. If we hit pause, it will then pause the song, and again we can just hit play and pause over and over again, and that will play and pause the song. Now we've got the pausing and playing. We need to now get the next and the previous working, but before we do that, I'd like to actually display the so we're going to say section.playlist. We want to actually display the that didn't work. We want to display the songs we can play and go through, just to make it a bit easier. So we're going to say h3. We're going to give this the playlist. Normally this would be your playlist name if you had multiple. We're then going to say button, and inside this button we're going to have a few things, but first we're going to say v4. So now we're going to loop through and create multiple buttons from the amount of songs we have. So we're going to say song in songs. We're then going to say the key is equal to song dot title or song dot source. It's probably a better one because it's probably only going to be one source. You could probably have an ID on those to do the key as an ID. So what we've done here is we're going to create a button for every single song in our songs array. So we're now going to say the key, we're going to give it a event listener called click, which is going to say play, but this time we're going to play this specific song. So if we click on this button, it's going to play this song, which we've clicked on. And then we're going to give it a class, but we're going to bind this class to equal something. So we're going to say, in here we need to say song.source is equal to, so if it's equal to the current song source, we're going to say song playing, so that's going to be our class. But if it's not equal to the current song playing, we're just going to give it song. So if it's playing, we can style it differently. And then inside the button, we're just going to say song.title, hit save, and there you go, we've got grateful and invincible. So I'm actually going to also do a hyphen and say song.artist so we can see both the name and the artist. Nice. So if I now again put my headphones on here and I hit play on, let's say, invincible, you can see the song has now changed and the button has changed. We can pause it again, we can continue playing it from where it was, or we can click over to Netflix and we can pause and play from where it is. So as you can see, so far we have some pretty cool features in this already. I know the styling isn't there, but the actual features are, and I think that is a pretty good way to start. So the next part after doing that, we actually need to work on the next and previous buttons. So we're actually going to set these to an @click event equal to next. Oh no, previous, sorry. And the other one will be an @click event equal to next. Now if we go down to our methods here, we've got pause, we want to create a next, and we also want to create a previous. And these are actually quite simple, although you wouldn't think it. So to do this, we just need to say, these are going to pretty much be copied over to each other except from one slight detail. So when we click next, we're going to say this.index is ++, so we're going to add 1 to the index, and then we're going to say if this.index is greater than this.songs.length -1, because it's obviously +1 if we're starting at 0 with the index, we're going to say this.index is equal to 0. So what this means is if we've clicked the next song but we're on the last song, Invincible, it's then going to jump from there back to the first song, which is Netflix. We're then going to say this.current is equal to this.songs, and we're going to say this.index. We're going to say this.play is equal to this.current, and now we're going to play this song, which is perfect. But now we actually want to copy this exactly and paste it into previous, not out of previous. But we want to actually change this now. So if we click backwards, we actually want a minus, and then we just want to say if it's less than 0, we're going to set it equal to this.songs.length -1. So it's going to pull it to the end of the playlist or end of the songs array, We could also create a shuffle list, but then we'd have to do that properly, we'd need to create a separate array called a queue, and we'd have to set up all this in the queue instead. But again, it works the same similar way. So now let's try this. So if we click next, you'll see, and you can hear that it's playing the next song. If I click previous, it's going to go back to grateful. If I click previous again, it'll go back to invincible because it's jumping from here back to forward. And we can do next and next. And as you can see, that is actually all the functionality you need in this app. So the next part is doing the styling. So for those of you who don't care about the styling, you can leave, but at the same time for those who do, you can see what we're about to do here. So we're going to firstly start off by styling the main. The main is going to have a width of 100%. We're going to have a max width of 768 pixels, and then we're going to set a margin of 0 auto. I've actually just realized we've missed a bit of functionality from this app. We actually want to go back up to this.play song, and we actually want to set a event listener on the is playing. This.player.add event listener ended. We then want to set a function, but on this function we want to then bind this, because an inner function is going to remove isn't going to have to correct this. And then in here, once the song has ended, we want to say this dot index plus plus. We then want to basically get the next statement here. We want to copy this, we want to paste this in here, and this is basically going to do what we want it to do. Now I can't really show you how this works because we'd have to play through a whole song, and I don't want to sit here for a whole X amount of minutes with my mic muted while we wait and then play it, and then it swaps songs and I'm like, oh damn it, I forgot to play, I forgot where it was, and then have to sit here again. So you just have to trust this works and probably test it yourself. But this will basically work how it should work, and it will then replay this song, which is awesome. So now let's get back on with the styling. So we've got that, we've set margin 0 auto, that just centers it for us. And we'll give it a padding of 25 pixels. We'll then go under the main and say .song-title. We'll give it a color of 212121, a font size of 32 pixels, font weight of probably around 700, maybe a text transform, not text emphasis, transform of uppercase, and we'll give it a text align of center. Hit save. And that's going to move to the center. That's a nice little color. I actually want this to be a much lighter 565A. Yeah, I kind of like the lighter grey. That's fine. And did we add a span around the... We did. We added a span around the eye. So now we're going to say .song-title span. And we're just going to say font weight is equal to 400. Hit save. As you can see, it now looks a little bit nicer. We might even say font style equal to italic. Italic. And there you go. It's made it italic to go with it. We're now going to say control. So we're going to now style the controls. We're going to say display flex. We're going to justify the content center. And then we're just going to give it a padding of 30 pixels, 15 pixels. Hit save. Hit save and refresh. Is that not doing anything? Did I give control, dot control? We did call it dot controls, right? Control. What is with my naming today? There we go. So that's centered them there. Nice. So down here, after we've done the controls, we want to do the button singular. We'll give each button a reset. We're going to say appearance none. We're going to say background none. We're going to say border none, outline none, and cursor pointer. Now this is going to affect these buttons down here too, but we're going to style those individually slightly later. We're going to say play. We're going to give this a font size of 20 pixels, a font weight of 700. We're then going to give this a padding of 15 pixels, 25 pixels and a margin of 0 pixels and 15 pixels. There you go. So the play button's looking a little better. We're then going to say, we'll give it a border radius of 8 pixels, but a color of FFF, because we're going to give it a background color equal to CC Phi 2E 5D. Hit save, and there you go. So now when we hover over it, it's looking right. So let's now go to button hover, and we're going to say opacity 0.8. Hit save. As you can see now when we hover, we have a little effect just so it doesn't look like we're doing nothing. I'm going to put that at the bottom because that will give us our styling resets. Actually, no, I think we can pull it up here under the button. Just keep it next to each other. Should all still work. Good, 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 good. So now we're going to style the next and the previous buttons together. We're just going to say for these ones, pretty similar to what we've done over here, but we're going to have basically smaller values. So we're going to have this at 16, this at 10 and 20. The margin can be the same. This border radius can be 6, and this color here is going to be FF5858. Hit save, and there you go. We've got these different buttons. I think this is being a bit, it's not exactly right. Wait here. Let's go here and let's say line items center. There we go. That's better. Now that's how I wanted it in the first place. Obviously messed that one up, didn't I? Okay, so now we want the dot playlist, and in the playlist we're going to say padding of 0 pixels 30 pixels. 0 pixels 30 pixels. It's going to bring it in slightly. We're then going to say dot playlist h3. We're going to give it a color of 212121. We have a font size of 28 pixels, a font weight of 400, and a margin bottom of 30 pixels, and a text align of center. Hit save, and that's going to bring that here. Now, underneath our playlist, we're going to have playlist.song. And we're going to display these as block elements, give them a width of 100%, a padding of 15 pixels around, a font size of 20 pixels, a font weight of 700, a cursor of pointer, and then we can actually do playlist.song.playing. And when it's playing, we'll give it a color of white, but we're going to give it a background image equal to a linear gradient, which is going to be 2 right, and we're going to say CC 2E 5D, and then FF5858. Before this though, we're going to say dot playlist dot song hover, and we're going to make it, when you hover it, the color goes to the FF5858. Hit save, and there we go. You can see the current ones. And now if I place this back on here and we select one, you can see it changes the song. If we click next, you'll see, oh, we need to style the pause button. So back up where the play is, we actually want to say /. Pause to give the pause button its styling too. So now if we click play, you can see it works out good, and we can click next, next, previous, previous, and we have these buttons which are working very nicely. And we can give this wideness, but this is wide it will go. So without further ado, guys, that is what we're building, and that is what we have built. So I hope this has been a good introduction back to VueJS. So I haven't done VueJS on my channel for a while, mainly because I ran out of things to do with it, and I thought with this 31 days there's bound to be something I haven't done, and I thought, what about a music player? I haven't showed people how to use audio, so this is what we've done here. We've created a little audio player, basically a little audio app where you can take this now and you can build your own music player. I could probably show you how you do different playlists and stuff in the future, but for now, this is what we've built. I hope you've enjoyed it. Next time we do a VueJS, we'll use components and maybe a few other features. So I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, don't forget to leave a thumbs up. If you want to see more, then don't forget to hit that subscribe button. And finally, thank you guys for watching. I will see you in the next video.
Always do it on my own, so I gotta get through it. And the only thing I know is to love what I'm doing. Never give up, never slow, till I finally prove it. Never listen to the no's, I just wanna keep moving. Keep my head up when I act.